Hello, welcome to Transformations. This is Unit 8. Let's go over the cheat sheet notes. When you have transformations, let's review the 4 types of transformations that we use in 8th grade. The first one is a translation. It is to slide each point of a figure the same distance and the same direction. So if you are moving left and right, that means you are either adding or subtracting to your X value. If you are sliding the image up and down, that means that you are adding or subtracting from your Y value. The second type of transformation that we have is a reflection, and it is to flip a figure over a line of reflection, and it is creating a mirror image. You can reflect over the y-axis, or you can reflect over the x-axis. These are the 2 types of reflections we have in 8th grade. The third one is rotations. It is to turn a figure around a point of rotation, either clockwise, which is just like the numbers on the clock, it's to the right, or counterclockwise, which is to the left. Now, rotations, this is what we use the patty paper for. And so please remember that you can use the patty paper and I can demonstrate that for you in class. Just let me know you would like for me to do that. Each quadrant represents 90 degrees. The last one is dilations, and this is when you enlarge or reduce the figure. And you do this by multiplying by a scale factor. So if you multiply by a scale factor less than 1, the image is going to reduce or get smaller. If you multiply by a scale factor greater than 1, the image is going to enlarge or get bigger. Now, before you do any transformations, you need to identify the pre-image, and this is the original figure, and it is identified with just a simple capital letter. Then after the transformation takes place, the new image is identified with an A apostrophe. That apostrophe indicates prime notation. So let's identify with transformations which one is your pre-image. Your pre-image is located in quadrant 1. And after the translation, you have your new image in quadrant, and I'll just put Q3. So let's review how your quadrants are counted. You have quadrant 1, and instead of using that, let's use Roman numerals. Quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and finally quadrant 4. These are how your quadrants are counted. And again, when you are doing a translation, you are adding or subtracting to the X and the Y values. So on to reflections. Your pre-image is located in quadrant 2. And we know this because it's just the capital letter. And then your image is located in quadrant 1. Okay. On to rotation. Oh, and reflections is when you are reflecting, which is a mirror image. You're flipping, and in this case, we reflected over the y-axis. Okay, and which you can also reflect over the x-axis. Rotations is when you are turning the object. So your pre-image is here, located in quadrant 3, and your image, I'll just do an I, is located in quadrant 2. With this rotation, it is a clockwise rotation, and it went 1 quadrant clockwise, so 90-degree clockwise rotation. And then finally, you have your dilations. The bigger one is actually your pre-image, And the smaller one is your image, which indicates that you multiplied by a scale factor less than 1. So let's look at the algebraic representations in this next section. Okay, so these are the algebraic representations. That's a fancy way to say rule. So these are the rules that you follow for each of the kinds of translations. If you have a translation where you are moving right on the x-axis, I'm just going to put a little x under here. Woo! Okay, so sorry about that. I have a couple of interruptions, so if I repeat myself, I'm sorry. We're back up here at translations. When you are moving to the right, that means that you are adding to the x-axis. And if you are adding to the y value, you are moving up. Now, with a translation left and down, this would indicate subtraction. So that's why your algebraic rule has y subtract and x subtract. Now, when you have reflections, if you reflect over the x-axis, the x value stays the same and y becomes its opposite. When you are reflecting over the y-axis, it's the opposite. Your y stays the same and your x becomes its opposite. This is your algebraic rule. Now let's talk about rotations. Now I need to clarify. Maybe I can write this in here. A 90-degree clockwise rotation is the same as a 270-degree counterclockwise. So your algebraic rule would where the x and the y value trade places, and the old x, the new y, which is this x here, becomes its opposite, changes to a negative. A 180-degree clockwise is the same as a 180-degree counterclockwise. And your algebraic rule is negative. So the x and the y stay in the same spot, but they become their opposites. Now, a 270-degree clockwise rotation is the same as a 90-degree counterclockwise. And just like up here with this 90-degree clockwise, your x and your y trade places, but this time your y becomes its opposite. Your new x, old y, becomes the negative, and the x stays positive. Okay. Your last one is a dilation in which scale factor is n. You're used to seeing it as SF, and so just ignore that there. Your scale factor is SF. If you multiply by a scale factor greater than 1, it is going to increase. If you multiply by a scale factor less than 1, then your scale image is going to reduce. It'll get smaller. So now let's go over here to scale factor. This just repeats what I said. And if you were given the scale factor, multiply. That is your algebraic representation. But if you are looking for the scale factor, you need to divide. So I'll put that little clue here. Oh, let's move that back up. So this is the order of your division because the order of division matters. You're going to take the x value of the new image and divide it by the x value of the pre-image or the original figure. It doesn't matter if you do the x value or the y value, but what does matter is that it's corresponding coordinate pairs. So let me know if you have any further questions about that. Area and perimeter. This only applies to dilations for scale factor. And it says if your scale factor of x, that will change the perimeter by the value of x. You just multiply by whatever the scale factor is. Now, with a scale factor of x, it will change the area by the scale factor squared. So for example, if your scale factor is 3, then you take the perimeter for the pre-image and multiply it by 3. That's how much larger the perimeter will change. Now the area, you take the area of the pre-image and multiply it by the scale factor squared. So 3 times 3, or 3 squared, is 9. That is how you find the area of the new image. Now we have one small section at the bottom of your notes, and this is going to talk to us about congruence. Congruence of the figure and the size and the shape. So congruence is preserved. Make sure you put that word in there somewhere. Preserved means to stay the same. Okay, preserved means to stay the same, and that is what congruence means. It stays the same. So with translations, reflections, and rotations, the size and the shape of the figure stay the same. They are preserved. But with dilations, they change. Okay, the shape stays the same, but the size is enlarged or reduced. Now let's talk about orientation of the figure. Orientation of the figure is the direction that the figure is facing. It's the way it looks at you. With translations and dilations, this is preserved. It stays the same. But with rotations and reflections, it changes. So write that on there somewhere. All right, that is your video lesson. Please go on to Schoology and complete the notes work and then begin the activity. Thank you.